All right, guys, yesterday we were talking about nonfiction and we were talking about expository text, right? We looked at a really cool PowerPoint and we've learned about the different text features that an author will use to teach us about a topic. What were some of the things that we talked about? What were some of the things we learned and saw on that PowerPoint? Text features. Table of contents. Cutaways. Glossary.
Captions.
Captions. What? Highlighted text.
Index.
Index.
Headings.
Headings. Did she get yours?
Yes.
Can you think of another one?
Sidebar.
Sidebars. Oh my gosh. Okay. So, Chris. What?
Name.
Yes. So there are a lot of different text features, and we put them all on here that an author would use, right? The reason that they use those text features are to do what?
Intrigue the reader.
Intrigue the reader. I love that. What else?
Give us information.
Give us information and do it organized. Because if they're writing a book about a topic, we decided they're an expert, right? Kind of like you're going to be an expert on your informational writing that we're working on. You know everything there is to know about that. So you've got to organize it in a way when someone reads your writing that they're going to be able to understand it. Well, today we're going to go one step further. And I'm going to show you how when text features are used in nonfiction, it's the author who is using their writing craft. So just like fiction stories, just like Patrick Carman in the book we're reading right now uses writer's craft, so does a nonfiction author. All of these things that we've talked about, that's their writing craft. What's some of the writing craft that we've used as writers and that we know that books that we enjoy reading? When I'm saying author's craft, like what am I talking about?
Dialogue.
Dialogue.
Collaboration.
Elaboration, love it.
Idioms.
Idioms, figurative language, right? Things that make it interesting. So we're talking about inner thought. We're talking about setting and action and dialogue and things that make it interesting to us. Strong verbs, you know, that figurative language that makes us want to turn the page, right? That is why we want to read a book, because it gets our interest and we enjoy it and it makes it easy to understand. That's author's craft, right? When you write your stories, when we wrote personal narratives and realistic fiction, you had a checklist for author's craft. You made sure that you had those things in there. Well, nonfiction is the same way. It's just different kinds of craft moves that they use to get our attention and teach us about what they're an expert on. A lot of times when we read a nonfiction, especially if it's expository, it's to get information, it's to get facts. Sometimes we're interested. Hayden, you get books about snakes all the time because you love snakes, right? Okay. Well, I'm going to tell you that if I was going to read a book about snakes, it would probably be because I had to. Maybe I had a report to do. Maybe we'd be doing a science unit. Maybe when you get older and you get into college or you go different places and you have to do research on something. And a lot of times, you might not even know that you love something. Remember the rat story we read? I never thought in the world that I'd want to read a story about rats, but I couldn't wait to turn the page because it was so interesting, right? Okay. So usually when we read something nonfiction, it's to get information. Maybe not because we just love it, but because we need some information. So the author has to use some craft moves. Otherwise, you're going to do what with the book? Put it back. You're not going to look at it. You know, if there's 10 books on sharks, the author that writes that, he wants you to pick his book to read. Now, I want to show you. We're getting ready to get into partners. So I want to show you something real quick. Found a book talking about sharks. I wanted you to just kind of look at the author's craft that he has used on sharks. And we'd like you to just kind of turn and talk to your neighbor. What are some of the author's crafts that you see? Turn and talk for a minute. Come up with something. It's kind of hard to get it all over. All right, so what do we think? What are some of the author craft moves you see on here? Jeffrey?
Bold print.
Bold print. I see several things that are bold printed. What else? Tyson? Headings. I mean, moving right along. And I love shark bite. That caught my attention right off the bat. In fact, when I first started, I read these 2 pages, I went straight to that box and read because it even has a bite out of it. And I thought, ooh, what's this going to be? Kind of something maybe gory or creepy. I wanted to see. But it's talking about their teeth. Simon?
Labels.
Labels. I'm so glad you said that. When I was reading up here, it was talking about pectoral fins. And it said they help the shark move up and down in the water. And if a shark tilts, its pectoral fins is what helps it move. Well, I have no clue what a pectoral fin is, but this author was smart enough to use the craft of coming in and it labeled what a pectoral fin is. So when I was reading this, I stopped and I went and I looked and I had the visualization and I knew exactly what that was, where it was located on the shark, and now I have information to know what it's used for and why it's important. So lots of author craft that an author chooses, and it's purposeful. It's purposeful. Like when you're writing something and we talk about purposeful crafts, we want to do something. We want, the author here wanted the reader to be able to know these things, and they use that stuff. So that's what we're learning today, is author craft and nonfiction, and why it's so important. On your table, here's what you're going to do. I have a sheet. You're going to get with your partner. I'm going to give you maybe about 5-7 minutes, okay? We're going to work together with our partner, and I have given each of you are going to have a different expository article. The directions say you're going to write down the topic of the book or the article that you're looking at. What's the topic of what we just looked at? Sharks. Okay, so that would be my topic. And then you're going to write down any text features that you notice. So my topic, I would write down sharks. And then you told me several text features, okay? You said that there was bold print. You said there was labeled pictures. You said that there were highlighted words. Okay, so there were different features, right? Then it's going to ask you to come down here and you need to write down anything that you learned from reading this text, okay? So it says, what have you learned from this article? Well, just from what we read right here, we know that the pectoral fin, remember what I said? The pectoral fin that's located on the side of the body helps the shark move up and down. So the pectoral fin helps shark move up and down. Because sharks can't turn upside down. So they have to have a way to maneuver. I'm going to let you work for about 5 or 7 minutes. You have an article. The first thing you're going to do is read the article, okay? You may want to read it. One of you read to the other a page, and you get to decide. However, you might both want to just read it independently. After you've read the article, okay, and remember, when you're looking at it, you're trying to get information, but you're noticing what are the text features? What's the author's craft that's helping you? Like I know immediately when I read this, there were certain things that really helped me to understand this better. If this had just been written on a piece of paper without the labels, without the highlighted words, do you think I would have been able to organize it and understand it as well? I don't think so. I think that the visuals helped me. I think that the highlighted words helped me to understand it better. It helped me to organize it in my brain. So you're going to read it together. You are going to come up with what are some of the features that they used. And remember, that's the author's what? Craft. Okay. And then you're going to put down just one. Just write down one thing that you learned. Okay. So get with your partner. 5-7 minutes, and then I'm going to check in with you and see how our conversations are going.